Mr. Bailey, my name is Rachel Zane. I am a law student at Columbia, and I'm here to talk to you about your case.
Student?
Yes, we work alongside the Innocence Project to determine if you have the criteria for an appeal.
Do you know how long I've been sitting on death row?
12 years. I read your file.
And for the last 10 of them, I've been writing letters and begging any lawyer to listen to my story. And they finally get around to getting back to me. And they don't even have the courtesy of sending me a real lawyer?
Mr. Bailey, trust me. I will fight for you.
You're a student. You can't do shit to me.
Well, you know what? You killed 2 people. In cold blood. You know it, and I know it, and that's why you're in there. So thank you for making the decision to not take your case. An easy one.
You don't know me. All you know is what you read in some damn file. I didn't kill anyone. I've been saying it for 12 years, and I can prove it.
You're right. I don't know you. And you don't know me either. So do you want to take a chance on each other or not?
I need help, Miss Zane.
So let me help you.
Excuse me, Professor Dunbar, do you have a moment?
This is the faculty lounge, Miss Zane. You're not supposed to be in here.
I understand that, and I'm sorry. It's just this is important, and you weren't in your office.
What can I do for you?
I met with Leonard Bailey yesterday. He's the inmate
I
on
know who he is. Is there a problem?
Yes, there is. He's rotting on death row for a crime that he didn't commit.
So you met with him for 10 minutes, and you're ready to release him.
No, what I'm saying
You're a
is
second-year law student, Rachel. I asked you to be a part of this because you're one of my brightest students, but I also asked you in particular because I didn't think you'd be so naive.
Excuse me?
Your job wasn't to talk to Mr. Bailey once and, after being moved by his tale of woe, tell me to jump him to the top of the pile. It was to assess his case and present evidence.
And it's exactly what I'm doing here. I just left 2 boxes of textbook prosecutorial misconduct with your secretary.
You found all of that since yesterday?
Yes, because while I may only be a second-year law student, I had been a practicing paralegal for the past 8 years.
Looks like I have some reading to do.
I'm sorry for interrupting your day.
Good afternoon, Miss Zane.
Good afternoon, Professor. Hello?
Rachel, Professor Dunbar.
What is it?
I know how passionate you were about Leonard Bailey, but I just heard back from the Innocence Project, and I'm afraid his case doesn't qualify.
What do you mean it doesn't qualify? We have 3 different grounds for an appeal.
And unfortunately, none of them revolve around the existence of previously undiscovered DNA.
What does that have to do with it? The man was railroaded. He deserves to have his case retried.
It has everything to do with it. Because in a case like this, that's the primary determinant for whether it qualifies or not.
I don't care whether it qualifies or not. I promised Leonard Bailey that I'd fight for him.
Well, you shouldn't have done that.
Professor, I know that we're not supposed to become emotionally invested in our clients, but if we don't have any passion, then what's the point of trying to help them in the first place?
Rachel, I understand this is a difficult thing to hear, but there's nothing I can do. Look, I give you my word. We'll find you a new case.
Well, if it isn't my knight in beautiful armor.
How are you, Mr. Bailey?
Please, call me Leonard.
I'm afraid I have some bad news, Leonard. The Innocence Project looked over the new evidence. They decided not to take your case.
What does that mean?
It means there's nothing else I can do.
I knew you couldn't do shit for me.
No, you don't understand. They almost never take cases without new DNA evidence, and yours had none.
I don't care about that. You asked me to take a chance on you, and now you march in here and tell me you're giving up?
No, Mr. Bailey.
You said you would fight for me.
I did fight for you.
Well, then fight goddamn harder!
I'm sorry. And I understand how you feel. But there's just nothing more that I can do.
How do you know what I feel? You don't know what it's like to be kept away from your loved ones.
Actually, I do.
How's that?
My fiance's in prison.
How long?
2 years.
2 years is nothing.
It doesn't feel like nothing to me.
What if it was forever, Rachel? Would you give up on him like you did me?
I didn't give up on you.
You said you found compelling evidence.
I also said that it wasn't enough.
That sounds like giving up to me.
Rachel, what are you doing here so late?
Professor, do you have a minute?
Of course. Yeah, sit down.
I went to see Leonard Bailey this morning to tell him we were turning our backs on him.
No one's turning their back on him, Rachel. There are just better cases.
No offense, but that's bullshit.
Excuse me?
You read his file. There's enough evidence in there for him to get a new trial, and instead we're gonna let him rot on death row.
Rachel, I understand how you feel, but there are
I
some things that...
feel like I dropped your class to take this case.
And I told you I'd get you another one.
I don't want another one. I want this one.
Rachel, I cannot provide you with the resources and the backing anymore.
Okay, so what if I were able to provide my own resources and to get the supervision of a qualified lawyer?
What are you talking about?
I work at P.S.L Specter Lit, Professor. They've been known to take a pro bono case from time to time.
Okay. Okay, you win, Rachel, but this is highly irregular.
I don't care. It's not a good enough reason to turn our backs on Leonard Bailey.
Okay. I'll do it.
Excuse me?
You're pro bono. Bring me the file tomorrow morning.
Jessica, I'm sorry. Can I just ask why?
What does it matter?
Matters to me.
I've been out all day trying to drum up business, and it hasn't been easy. So from now on, when people Google our name, I'd rather they see innocent man freed by P.S.L Specter than Manhattan law firm hires a fraud.
Thank you.
Good night, Rachel.
Since when do we get a room instead of having to use those damn phones?
Since I officially became part of your legal team.
My legal team.
That's right. The firm that I work for is taking your case.
After all this time. Thank you.
You're welcome. But we still need to get the case reopened. And to do that, we need to find something new.
So where do we get that?
I was going through the state's case file and I read your police report. You said there was a woman with you that night who can testify that you didn't kill that couple.
That's right, Maria. But that's not new.
Well, it's new as far as the court's concerned because it was never admitted at trial.
Well, let's admit it.
It's not that easy. I need to understand why it was never admitted.
Because the damn woman up and disappeared before my trial. My lawyer didn't do a thing.
You had an alibi witness and your public defender let her get away?
That's what I've been saying. Maria could have told the jury that I didn't do it. Instead, no one told him. 2 weeks later, I'm in here. And I've been here ever since.
Is there anything else I need to know? Then I need to find Maria Gomez.
I have to admit, Miss Zane, when you said you were looking into the Bailey case, my interest was piqued. That was a long time ago.
Well, you've obviously come a long way since your public defender days.
You don't exactly see the best of humanity at that job, which makes it one you can only do for so long. But you didn't come here to be my therapist.
No, I came to talk about Maria Gomez.
What about her?
I'm curious as to how you can have an alibi witness on a murder case and your client ends up on death row.
Because I didn't have an alibi witness. I had a no-show who vanished into thin air, and I didn't have the resources to find her.
And you didn't think to ask the police at trial why they didn't follow up on Leonard's alibi?
I did think of it, and they would have said what they always say. Every murderer claims to have an alibi, and if I couldn't produce her, why should they?
Well, you could have at least asked for postponement to have time to find her.
And I would have, except for one thing. I wasn't sure a drug addict with a prior conviction would have done Leonard Bailey much good.
That's about her character, not the facts of the case.
Her character is a fact of the case. And when I pressed her as to what the two of them were doing at the time of those murders, she admitted they were both on meth. And it wasn't the first time. Which, by the way, might have something to do with why she never showed up at trial. So you can try to reopen this case if you want, Miss Sane. But I am telling you, you're wasting your time.
You went to see my old lawyer?
Yes, I did.
And now you sitting over there looking at me like, maybe he could have killed those people after all.
Leonard, when I went into that meeting, I was on your side.
And you came out of it, off it.
No, when I came out of it, I had questions.
Okay, ask him. I got nothing to hide.
Really? Because you hid something from me the last time.
That was different.
No, it's relevant.
No, it isn't.
You were high the night of the murders, and you lied to me about it.
Because I'm ashamed of how I used to be. I was a high school dropout on my way nowhere. So yeah, I looked for an escape when I could afford one. I'm not saying I didn't make some mistakes or maybe even commit a few crimes, but killing those kids was not one of them. And that's the truth. But I guess it doesn't matter, because if you don't find Maria, someday they're gonna walk me down that hall and put me to death.
Then I guess I better get back to finding her. But Leonard, I'm telling you, if you're not straight with me, this isn't gonna work.
Then I won't ever leave anything out again.
What are you working on?
An engagement letter.
You got a new client.
I got us 2 new clients.
So that's what you had to do the other day.
Well, something like that. The one I got the other day led to the one I got today.
It's great.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
I know you said that you'd give me an hour of your time later this week, but I need that hour tonight.
Rachel, it's been a long day. Can we talk about this in the morning?
No, Jessica, we can't. Leonard Bailey's execution date's been set. And I don't know how to tell a man that he's going to die.
Who are you?
Mr. Bailey, my name is Jessica Pearson, and I'm lead counsel on your case.
Well, you coming here, it must be about something important.
It is.
Leonard, your execution date has been set.
When?
Just because they've set the date.
When?
Yes. 30 days. Leonard, I'm so sorry.
I don't need your sorry. I want to know what you're doing about this.
We're going to file a motion to delay.
I don't give a shit about delaying. I mean, what are we doing to get me out?
We're working on it. But I do think, Leonard, that it's really important that you take some time to process this.
I've been processing for 12 years. You said you were gonna find Maria. So tell me, what are you doing here instead of out there tracking her down?
Leonard, I know that this is difficult, and
Mr. Bailey, what Rachel means is that's exactly what we're going to do.
Let me get this straight. You want me to delay this man's execution based on his own assertion from 12 years ago that there's an alibi witness.
Your Honor, we understand that's not enough to reopen the case. We're just asking for more time to locate the witness.
You've had 12 years to locate the witness.
Not to mention that the day the execution is set is the day that their client just happened to suddenly remember the witness in the first place.
He didn't suddenly remember. He's been saying it for 12 years, and he finally found someone who cares enough about the truth to help him find her.
How dare you? I care about the truth, and I convicted a murderer. Your Honor, this was a brutal murder of two 16-year-old children, and the families of both of those children are here today because they've waited 12 years for their nightmare to finally end, and there is no legal reason to prolong their suffering.
Your Honor, you have the power to push Leonard Bailey's execution if you see fit. Isn't it worth doing if there's even a 1% chance that he is innocent?
You have 1 week to find a witness. After that, you cannot move to reopen his trial, and his execution date is set in stone.
I'm here to show you this. This is what that man did to my daughter.
Mr. Forrest, I know that this must be incredibly difficult. And it may not seem that way to you, but I am seeking justice for your daughter.
We got justice when that animal was sentenced to death, so don't you try to tell me you're doing this for her.
I'm doing this for everyone. The case was grossly mishandled.
That's not for you to decide.
You're right, sir. It's for a jury to decide.
A jury did decide.
And they weren't presented with all of the facts.
The facts are he killed my girl.
Mr. Forrest, I'm so sorry for your loss. But I believe in my heart that Leonard Bailey is innocent. And I'm going to make sure that he gets the fair trial that he never had.
By tracking down some junkie witness?
Drug user or not, Maria Gomez never had a chance to be heard. If you'll excuse me, I need to go to my office.
I'm not going anywhere! Not until you understand that if you are sorry for me, you wouldn't have taken this case on in the first place. Instead of using it to make a name for yourself.
That's enough. You said everything you needed to say. Now walk yourself out of here before I have security remove you. Hey. You all right?
I will be. Thank you, Gretchen.
You want to go for dinner or just drinks?
What do you want?
The truth? I'd rather just go to a dive bar.
Sounds perfect to me. Dad, what are you doing here?
I came to talk to both of you.
What is it?
Jim Rogers found your missing witness. She died 3 years ago.
I wasn't expecting you so soon.
We have some news we wanted to give you in person.
We found Maria Gomez. Leonard, she died 3 years ago.
What does that mean?
It means that we have 5 more days to find something we can use to get your case reopened.
It sounds like a polite way of telling me that in 30 days, I'm gone.
And what if there was a way to get us more than 5 days?
Let's take it.
You have a right to have a family member present at your execution. If you have a relative that's sick, who needs time to get better, to travel, we can petition the court for a delay, and they have to grant it.
The woman who raised me, my Aunt Harriet. Oh, she has MS, but that's not gonna do us any good because she doesn't want anything to do with me.
She never came to visit you?
She thinks I'm guilty. She says I brought shame on the family.
Even if you did, you need her now. She has to see that.
I've reached out to her, Rachel, 1,000 times my first years here. I wrote her that there's nothing I needed more than to know that I had her support. She didn't give it to me then, and she's not gonna give it to me now.
Well, maybe if she could see that 2 women like us believe in you, then she'll be able to believe in you too.
If you could make that happen, that would mean the world to me.
Then we'll make that happen.
My name's Rachel Zane, and I'm a lawyer working on your nephew's case.
My nephew's case was over a long time ago, and thank God for that.
Ma'am, I'm here because we believe Leonard was wrongly convicted of those murders.
Well, that's what they all say, isn't it? But just because he suckered you doesn't mean he's gonna sucker me.
He didn't sucker anyone. I looked at the evidence, I got to know the man.
So you got proof he didn't do it?
We're working on it. But if we can't find a way to push back the execution, then in 30 days it won't matter anymore.
What do you want from me?
I want you to ask the court for a delay, so you can be with him at his execution.
I'm not gonna watch him die.
Miss Dion, please. You raised him.
I raised Leonard from when he was 14 to 17. I took him in. I loved him. He was no good then, and he's no good now.
Look, if that's the case, you don't have to be at the execution. But if you could sign this request that says you're too infirm to travel this month, it will at least give him the chance to prove you wrong.
I'll sign your letter. But I'm not watching him die.
Thank you.
Let's get to it. What happened?
Good news. The court granted our motion. They pushed your execution back a month.
I don't believe it. You convinced my aunt I didn't kill those people?
No, Leonard, I didn't.
I don't understand. You said that she had to agree to be there for me.
She agreed to sign the papers. But she's not gonna come.
God damn it.
Leonard, don't take your eye off the ball. This was about buying us time.
Take my eye off the ball? Do you even give a shit about me?
Of course we do.
I know you do. But I want to know if she cares whether I live or die.
I just got your execution pushed back.
That's not what I asked you. You didn't even go see her, did you?
I have a firm to run, and only one of us needed to get her signature.
But two of you could have helped convince her that I'm innocent. Don't you get it? The woman who raised me wants nothing to do with me.
Leonard, I know you're disappointed, but it's not my job to repair your relationship with your aunt. It's my job to get you out of here.
I ain't never getting out of here. Don't you understand that? So you go play your game with the courts. But whether it's 30 days or 60 days, it doesn't matter, because I'm gonna die in here, lady. The one thing I asked you to do, you didn't. You didn't even care enough to try. Just get out.
All right, I'm here. But I gave you 7 days to find that witness, and then you went behind my back. So you better have a good reason why you're in here asking to reopen this case.
We do, Your Honor. We found Leonard Bailey's alibi.
What they found is nothing but hearsay.
What is he talking about?
He's talking about the fact that our eyewitness died 3 years ago. And Mr. Bailey's original attorney is going to testify on her behalf under the Turner v. Michigan exception to the hearsay rule.
That exception involved a written statement.
It is a written statement, and we have it right here.
That is not a written statement. That is a bullshit affidavit she cobbled together this morning.
What did you just accuse her of?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I find it decidedly convenient that they don't have the witness statement written down on a notebook or a scrap of paper from the same decade that it happened.
Well, we happen to find it decidedly inconvenient.
And Georgina Casey didn't write it down at the time because she didn't do an adequate job representing her client.
Are you now saying that this case needs to be reopened based on Leonard Bailey having inadequate representation? Because that is a serious allegation to make about a fellow attorney.
That wasn't our plan. But if that's what it takes to give this man a chance to prove his innocence, then it sure as hell is our plan now.
This is ridiculous.
It may sound ridiculous, but if they were able to get a successful attorney to admit to a huge blunder, then I'm ruling that this case should be reopened after all.
5 years is still a long time.
Yes, it is. But then you walk out of here a free man.
A free man, but not an innocent one.
You're still innocent, Leonard, whether the world sees it that way or not.
But if the world thinks I'm a convicted murderer, then I might as well die in here. Because there's not gonna be a life out there for me anyway.
No one said it was going to be easy. But there's no point in dying for a crime you didn't commit.
I don't think you understand. I'm not doing this just to stay alive. I'm doing this so one day I can knock on my kid's door and they'll know their father is an innocent man. If I take this deal, that's never gonna happen.
If you don't take it, it may never happen either.
Hey, you're pretty quiet. What do you think?
I think that Jessica has a lot more experience than I do.
That's not what I asked you. I want to know what you think I should do.
Leonard, the odds of you getting out...
I said I want to know what she thinks.
I think you should fight.
Then that's what I'm going to do.
God damn it. I said we need to be on the same page.
He asked me what I thought. I'm not gonna lie to him.
I never would have thought Robert Zane's daughter would be so naive.
Naive. I was actually starting to believe that you cared about this case, but the only thing that you care about is putting it to bed as quickly as possible.
How dare you? Playing the odds isn't the same as not caring.
Maybe not, but Jessica, I have watched you my whole career, and this is the first time that you've ever backed away from a fight.
That's because you've never seen me fight when someone's life is on the line. Well, that's right. I was in a situation like this once before. I did what you want me to do now. We lost, and it ripped me to shreds. So when I tell you I have a lot more experience than you, believe it.
Jessica, I'm sorry that you lost a case like this before. But the way to help Leonard is not to convince him to take some deal that he can't live with. It is to fight to give him something worth living for.
What are you doing here? Where's Rachel?
I'm just here to tell you you're about to get a visitor.
You convinced my aunt to come see me?
No, I couldn't convince her, but I was able to track down your daughter.
What?
You heard right. Maya's right outside.
I'm gonna need a moment.
Of course.
I know you only did this so she'll tell me to take the deal, but thank you.
Leonard, she doesn't even know about the deal.
Then what'd you tell her to get her to come?
I told her we found new evidence that her father is an innocent man, and she should hear it from you before we go to court to prove it.
So you do think I'm doing the right thing?
Honestly, I don't know if you are or you're not. But what I do know is when you care about someone, you have their back either way. You ready? Hi, Daddy.
Hey, sweetheart.
Always wanted what you couldn't get.
Wait a minute, her father.
What about him?
He called Maria a junkie witness. How would he even know that she was a drug user?
What do you mean? The same way I would know. Leonard and his public defender said so on the stand.
No, but he used those exact words when he came at me trying to get me to drop this whole thing.
He came at you?
It's fine, I handled it, but he did try to intimidate me.
And a man who would intimidate you might do the same thing to Maria Gomez.
Yeah, but I don't think he intimidated her. I think he did the opposite.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I think we need to pay that man a visit.
I have nothing to say to you.
Please, Mr. Forrest, you confronted me when I didn't want to talk to you, and I gave you the respect to hear what you had to say. You can at least hear what we have to say.
You got 60 seconds, then I'm calling the police.
Go ahead, but when they get here, we'll tell them all about how you sent Maria Gomez away so that she couldn't testify.
That's insane.
Is it? Because a woman who was never in the court record as a drug user went to a rehab facility she could never afford, and you knew enough about her to call her a druggie to my face a month ago.
It's not proof of anything.
And that's not the answer of an innocent man. Look, Mr. Forrest, I can't begin to understand what you've been through, but right now, the wrong man is sitting on death row because of what you did.
I didn't do shit.
Please, can't you imagine what this has been like for Leonard Bailey, what his life has looked like for the past 12 years?
The only thing I want to imagine is what my life's going to be like after that man takes his final breath. Your time's up.
Miss Pearson. Miss Pearson, are you ready?
Mr. Forrest, so many lives were ruined that night. Your daughters, her boyfriends, yours.
Is there a question?
Someone had to pay for that, didn't they?
Yeah, they sure as hell did.
Is that why you paid for Maria Gomez to go to rehab, to keep her from testifying at Mr. Bailey's trial?
What?
Objection, Your Honor. She's putting the victim on trial.
My client is the victim here.
Ms. Pearson, you better back this up fast.
Then ask the witness to answer my question.
I never even heard of that woman until yesterday.
Your Honor, the defense would like to admit into evidence the admissions form for an Allison Dobson into the Pathways Rehabilitation Center from 12 years ago.
Who is that?
She was Maria Gomez's roommate, and I'm gonna put her on the stand.
No, that can't be. No, you can't do that.
And she's going to say that Maria told her that she felt terrible about abandoning her friend.
Objection, hearsay.
No, she won't.
Overruled.
And she's going to testify that you paid for Maria to be there.
I had nothing to do with anything.
That's not what she's going to say.
I don't care. She's lying.
Why would she lie? She just wants to put the record straight.
The record is straight.
Not according to her roommate.
She's lying.
Objection, badgering.
How could you know?
Because Maria Gomez didn't have a roommate.
What did you just say?
Yes, I paid for her. Because she's a junkie who'd say anything to get him out of what he did. So I got her out of the way because he did it.
Mr. Forrest.
He did it!
Your Honor, the defense asks that Mr. Bailey be exonerated and his sentence be commuted immediately.
Mr. Marsden?
We have no objections, Your Honor.
Then the jury may be excused. And Mr. Bailey, you're free.
I can't believe it. We did it. I can't thank you enough.
You don't have to thank me, Leonard. You just have to walk out that door.